I've been with the sheriff's office for 18 years, and starting at the sheriff's office, I guess I was so naive to the drug world. I had never done drugs. I had never been a part of even drinking. I still haven't drank to this day. But getting into this job and now being a parent, it is such an eye-opening experience for me to, as a street cop, to investigate it, but to see the devastating effects that happen throughout our county. To see families get ripped apart, to see the extent that kids go through to get the drug, it is such a terrible thing. I guess the understanding of what this drug is doing to them and how cheap it is, and this euphoric feeling, or the understanding from a medical perspective of how it's just taking that pain away from your body. For me to witness that and to see that and investigate it, and then look at that devastation throughout the county, it was such an eye-opening experience to me. Within my job, even when I was started off, my very first call on my own, I was being shadowed, was a heroin overdose. And just from my very early career to now, as seeing that rise and seeing that change, I'm so thankful that everybody is here to discuss this difficult topic, but to understand that it is here. It is in our communities. And, the sheriff's office is very proactive, and we try to do everything that we can to involve, to have school officers. We have a school officer assigned here to this school, and we have other officers that go out and through our community, teaching Too Good for Drugs, and trying to get that education and that awareness out there, which is so critical. It's so critical as us as a community, and as for understanding of how this affects everybody. Kids stealing and pawning everything. I've witnessed it from a personal level, from my niece being addicted to drugs and pawning off my deceased mother's wedding ring. These programs that we try and put out there, we need to encourage everybody to be involved in. We have an anonymous crime tip program through the sheriff's office that we encourage you to visit. If you have information, right on our sheriff's office website. The program is called ACT, which stands for Anonymous Crime Tip. But we want the community to act to get us the information so that we can help stop the dealers or the users. But Sheriff Zaruba has promoted so many programs, one of which we'll hear about here shortly, called the First Step Program, which in such a personal way, it allows parents and addicts to try and resolve that issue without law enforcement involvement. These other programs that we try and encourage people to get involved with and understand about, just like this forum, or communicating with our office and just telling us what is going on in your community. We have a Citizens Police Academy that we invite everybody to come into to learn about our office. And that is just to open the door for communication. We want that communication with our community. We want that involvement. We want everybody to come together to understand. Now, at the Sheriff's Office, just recently, we have been able to train all of our street deputies to handle or deal with as a first responder if they're dealing with an overdose like I did early in my career. I didn't have this medication, I guess is what's called, Narcan. Now, all of our officers, all of our deputies are trained in using this injection, which is actually a nasal injection. And thankfully, under the sheriff's direction, we have this now on the street. And just exactly 1 month ago, I believe it was on March 22nd, we had our first life save from that injection. And the deputy was awarded a life-saving award for saving that life. And I mean, that is such a wonderful thing. It's a nasal injection that goes along with emergency rescue breathing, and it makes an immediate response to counteracting this drug. And the importance of finding somebody that is on an overdose is getting there and calling us immediately. Now, when we have arrived, just like I arrived at my first heroin overdose, getting there, the area was cleaned up. The stuff was hidden. But we need to know that when we respond. We need to know if there's a potential that it is a heroin overdose so that we can act appropriately. We don't want you to fear that you could possibly be prosecuted or your child could be prosecuted. We want you to give us that information so that we can act appropriately and give the proper medication to save that life, which happened, which is so fantastic. I applaud Matt Lagona, who is here tonight, to speak of his journey that he went through with his addiction. And we are now going to be able to hear from Matt directly, to hear about what he went through and where he is at in his journey on recovery. So I'd like to welcome Matt up to the stage.